Good afternoon. We do have a quorum in the room, plus Rebecca. Thank you for being here. Rebecca, you're on an emergency. Is what you're coming in on, so you can fully participate when we get to you. Okay? Okay, great. Okay, thank you all for being here. And I know some people are still coming. We know there is that fire and from Simi. I don't know, Delia, I was surprised you got here so fast. Okay. So we may have some East County people besides you who are having trouble getting here. So hopefully not. But anyway, people will drift in, I think. So we'll get started. So I'm calling the meeting to order. Interpretation instructions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Ricardo Garcia, and I'm along with Gladys Ramos, and I'll be the interpreters for today's meeting. Introductions to access the interpreter via Zoom on your computer. After the host activates language interpretation mode, click the interpretation icon and select the language that you would like to hear. English and Spanish interpretation is available. Optional, to only hear the interpreted language, click mute original audio. Via phone or tablet, in your media controls, tap more at the bottom right in the mobile phone app and top right in the tablet app after the host activates language interpretation mode. Select language interpretation and click the language that you would like to hear. If the icon is not visible, tap the screen to make it appear. Reminder, speak slowly, pause between sentences, speak clearly, avoid interrupting or multiple people speaking, avoid using metaphors, acronyms, slang, or idioms. The interpreter signals during the meeting, speak slower, raise your voice, interrupt for clarification, or communicate a concern. Acceso al intérprete a través de Zoom por la computadora. Después de que el anfitrión active el modo de interpretación del lenguaje, haga clic en el símbolo de interpretación y seleccione el idioma que desea escuchar. La interpretación en inglés y en español están disponibles. Opcional, para solo escuchar el idioma interpretado, haga clic en omitir audio original. A través del teléfono o tableta, en los controles de la reunión oprima la opción más después de que el anfitrión active el modo de interpretación del lenguaje. Esta opción estará localizada en la parte inferior a la derecha de la aplicación de su teléfono y la parte superior a la derecha en su tableta. Una vez ahí, seleccione interpretación del lenguaje y elija el idioma que desea escuchar. Si el símbolo no está visible, toca la pantalla para que aparezca. Recordatorio, hable despacio, pausa entre oraciones, hable con claridad, evite interrumpir o hablar varias personas entre sí. Evite usar metáforas, siglas, doble sentido o modismo. Señales del intérprete durante la junta. Hable despacio, hace la voz, interrumpir para clarificación o comunicar algún problema. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much for being here. Okay, we're going to do introductions, which is also our roll call, as you know. And we do have two new people here. And first, I want to introduce our new assistant director, which is very exciting to have you here, Chrissy. Chrissy Doss, Christine, but you go by Chrissy,
Yes.
right? Okay, who's a licensed clinical social worker. She's joined our organization as the assistant director. So we're very excited to have her here. When it comes around to her, I'm going to ask her to just say a couple words about her background and who she is and whatever she wants to say. Yeah, okay. As you can see, Dr. Dennering is not able to be with us today, so Dr. Schiffer is filling in for Dr. Dennering. And we have a new board member, Frank Schillo, and he will introduce himself when we get around for introductions. Frank was appointed by Supervisor Gorell. He's a former member of the County Board of Supervisors and a longtime Thousand Oaks City Council member. So we're really honored to have him with us. And he will introduce himself when we get around to him. So, okay, I'll start with you, Soledad. You can just say your name and your district that you're representing.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Soledad Barragan. I represent District 5.
Hi, Dahlia Robkin, District 4.
Hello, Natalie Torres, District 5.
John Stencil, District 1.
Andre Bobro, District 1.
Matt Levere, representing the Board of Supervisors.
Press the button.
Well, I get some time just to say, I'm really pleased to be here. I just outlined a few things in my past so you kind of get a sense of what.
Good.
That's this.
Green. Punch it one more time, and you'll be good. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I broke it down into a couple. I want to stay under 3 minutes. So first of all, I just want to talk about a personal. I was married to Marion for 62 years until she passed away 5 years ago. So that was left a big hole in my life with all that. And we have 4 children, Ed, Dan, Susan, and Patty. 3 of them live in Thousand Oaks and 1 in San Diego. And Marion and I both were concerned about housing, even back in the 70s when if housing was anathema. Nobody wanted to talk about it because I think what was happening is on television, you'd see St. Louis, and there'd be this big high rise and little balconies with goats on them and, and laundry hanging down. And that's how they envisioned for affordable housing. So we had, go over that. So in the bottom line, we're the founders of many mansions, and it's still going strong now. And I think it fits in nicely with what you're doing here with the housing, because it was something that goes back to the 70s, But anyhow, we moved here in 1971, and see what I want to also. There's oh gosh. Yeah, after my political aspect of my life was city of Thousand Oaks, and basically I was a city councilman for 10 years in city, and during that time we built the Civic Arts Plaza, and during that time people in Thousand Oaks were all going to the San Fernando Valley to shop, because there wasn't any shopping back in those days, and so they started leaving us, and we said we gotta capture them, and so that we did do that. Then I did run for two terms for the Board of Supervisors, and I was chairman of the Board of Supervisors. And I started what happened is that the federal government was going to close Port Hueneme. I don't know if you all remember that. And so I said, hey, that can't happen economically. It's just really the bad thing to do. So I started Regional Defense Partnership 21. At the okay with the Board of Supervisors, they approved it be doing that, and so we with that information, I went to each city council meeting. There's 10 cities, and so I went to every council meeting and asked for one representative from each city council to be on this group, and I got them. So 11 of us went to Washington and going lobbying, and we met with the senators and everybody there to make sure they got on board with us while we were there to lobby to get to relieve the pressure on Port Hueneme. But then as it turns out, it was a good thing, because the person that we saw, when everybody introduced themselves, he could see that it was every city in Thousand Oaks represented and the county all together. So it was just slam dunk. He said, "Okay, we'll do what you want to do," and the other electeds all jumped in too. So we had everybody in Ventura County that was elected was lobbying there for it, and it worked. So I just threw in a personal thing. I currently I'm on a class for every Friday. I do Pilates, and boy, that's a real good thing. It's really good for you. And I had a car accident, and it was on Thousand Oaks Boulevard, and I was parked in the middle of the road, getting ready to make a turn, and a car came crashing through the other side and went across the front of my car, knocked off the plate. It was on the ground, and I was in shock, and I had a low back. So the next day I went to see my Pilates teacher. 5 minutes later, I was no more pain in the back. I recommend everybody do that. Just get some physical exercise. It's really good. Let's see. Oh, we're planning on going to a family reunion in Wisconsin on July 7th to 15th. And I understand you may not be having a board meeting, which makes me happy because I don't want to miss meetings. So if you're gonna not have a meeting, that's perfectly good, fine with me. So you have any questions?
Well, welcome. We'll look forward to getting to know you better. Some of us knew you from our past, but it's good to see you again and we'll look forward to working with you. Thank you
Thank you.
for the introduction. Okay, continuing on, Sylvie.
Oh, Sylvia Garcia for District 3, also currently the secretary, and for Supervisor Long. Oh, we're sharing.
I'm Chris Ridge, Education Representative.
And Cheryl Heitman, I'm District 1. I'm the chair of the board. And Chris should have said he's the vice chair, but he's a new vice chair, so he's not used to it yet. Yeah, all right, we'll move. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. And I'm sorry, Rebecca, you need to introduce yourself. And I don't know if, I know Diane is coming. I don't see her as coming in on Zoom, so she must be going to come in person.
Hi, everybody. Rebecca Gregorian, District 4.
Great, thank you. We'll look forward to seeing you in person next month.
Thank you.
And I think you have to declare emergency or just cause, right? One of the two?
Sorry, I thought you announced it earlier. Yes, I have cause to not be at the meeting in person, and I'm joining via Zoom due to medical circumstances.
Okay, great.
Nancy, are you there, Nancy? Can you hear
Pardon
me?
me?
Can you hear me? This is Chris Dyer.
Oh, Chris, I didn't even see you up there. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm also appearing remotely. I'm on required work travel out of state, and I'm the law enforcement representative.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we'll move on with the agenda. Oh, sorry. Did I forget you? Sorry, forgot the staff.
Marty Knudsen, Office of the County Council.
I'm John Shipper. I'm the adult, old habits. I'm the forensic chief here on behalf of Dr. Denner.
Good afternoon, Christine Doss. I am the new Assistant Director of Behavioral Health. And I'll just share a couple of things. I came from Madera County, where I was previously the Director of Behavioral Health. And previous to that, I was Director of Behavioral Health in Mariposa County. I recently moved here. I've been here. This is my second week. So I love it so far. I tell everybody I'm super fortunate. I was able to move from a really beautiful place. I live just right outside Yosemite National Park to another beautiful place. So I'm excited to be here. I've worked in behavioral health well over 15 years. And I'm originally from Bakersfield. So that's where I was born and raised and received my master's degree. And I'm currently working on my doctorate in social work. So yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Well, welcome. We're excited to have you. And I know Dr. Dennering would be cheering if she was here because she's very excited to have you here. Okay. Moving on to the approval of the agenda. And I'm just announcing that Dr. Morales, who was our presenter, is unable to be with us, but he's asked Chris Ridge, who's one of us, and is intimately involved with the programs that we're going to hear about today. So we're excited to have him do the presentation later. And that's the only change that I have to the agenda. Anybody else have any changes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. And Sylvia, we have to do a roll call vote on this.
Soledad Barragan,
Yes.
Daniel Bednar's not here. Andre Bobro,
Yes.
Nancy Borchardt's not here. No, I lost it. Does the people on Zoom count?
Yeah.
Okay, Chris Dyer,
He nodded.
Yes.
Genevieve, myself, yes. Rebecca Gregorian. Chris Ridge,
Yes.
Supervisor Lavier.
Yes.
Naomi is not here. Diane's not here. John Stencil. Dahlia Ropkin.
Yes.
Natalie Torres.
Yes.
Michael Rodriguez not here. Marlon Torres not here. Okay. And Cheryl Hyman.
Yes,
And Frank Shilo.
Yes.
Is it Shilo? Skilo?
Here.
Shilo. Frank Shilo. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That motion passes, and we're moving on to the minutes from our last meeting. Are there any corrections or additions? Any comments? I do have to make one correction. It says the adjournment at the end of the minutes, and it puts me as adjourning the meeting, which I was not in attendance. So that would have to be Chris. I know you're so used to writing this, yeah, but that'd be Chris. So that'd be the only. So with that correction, are there any other corrections? No. Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Approval is amended.
Thank you. Is there a second? Oh, John, thank you. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We'll have to do the roll call vote again. Sylvia?
Soledad Barragan.
Yes.
Andre Bobro.
Yes.
Chris Dyer. Thumbs up. Myself, yes. Rebecca Gregorian. Chris Ridge.
Yes.
Supervisor Lavier.
Yes.
John Stencil.
Yes.
Dahlia Ropkin.
Yes.
Natalie Torres.
Yes.
And Cheryl Hyman.
Yes.
And Frank Shilo. Skilo. I got it wrong again.
Yes.
Frank.
Okay. Minutes are approved. Thank you for that. And now we move on to public comments. There was one sent in late after the agenda was printed, so we did leave it at your desk, or at your place, I should say. Are there any other public comments? I'm not seeing any up there. Anybody else in the room? Oh, I'm sorry, there is, oh, Chris, I'm so sorry. Chris Tejeda.
Hi there. Thank you so much for the public comment or the opportunity. I just wanted to make a quick announcement about our town hall that we'll be hosting this June 11th from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Poinsettia Pavilion in Ventura. So we'd love to have you guys all there. There are flyers on the back table, I believe. And this year's topic is around the idea of what does getting better look like? So looking at successful outcomes through the lens of functional outcomes as well. So we look forward to having you all attend, and yeah, thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you. Thank you for all you're doing. That's great. And hopefully you'll get a good attendance. And we do have flyers on the back table. You're right. Okay, anybody else? I'm not seeing anybody else. Oh, okay. Okay.
Just a reminder that May is Mental Health Month, and we have our solidarity pins, our green pins in the back over there. If you want to take some for your anyone in your who's close to you who would be helped. There are also some cards for who do you call, so numbers for resources of how do you reach out for mental health support and behavioral health services. So thank you.
Thank you for that reminder. Great. Yeah, so everybody pick up your pin. It's great. Okay. All right. So as I said, Chris Ridge is going to be doing our presentation. And so I'm going to turn it over to Chris. Thank you for doing that, Chris.
Thank you. I was using teacher voice. Okay, good afternoon, and going around our circle here and also for our folks in attendance today, green ribbons to complement. These are stickers that you can place on something that you hold on to often, such as the back of your cell phone or your water bottle. They're tactile, so they bring us into the here and now, the present moment. So that's why they're good for mental health. So those are going around too today in support of May as Mental Health Awareness Month. And my name is Chris Ridge. I'm Director of Comprehensive Health and Prevention Programs at the Ventura County Office of Education. I know that's a mouthful, so just think wellness is essentially what it is where I support at the county office. And I'm checking to see if our clicker is working so that I don't have to bother Celine, but I might have to. Could you please advance the slide? There we go. So yeah, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Just wanted to start out with that, of course. And there we go. I'm here today on behalf of our County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Cesar Morales, sending regrets that he's not able to join here today. What I'll do today is provide a presentation on his behalf and start at a high-level view and whittle it on down, narrow it on down into some very specific programs that are pertinent to behavioral health. And with some big thanks from VCOE to VCBH, as well as the California Department of Healthcare Services, as well as Gold Coast Health Plan, all of which have been partners in this work of behavioral health that is so important that we work together to best support our students and families. Starting with the highest level view, the good news from the VCOE perspective is that test scores and graduation rates are up, and absenteeism and suspension rates are going down, both going in the right direction as we would want. So that's the high level news. Getting on down into some of the more specifics that I want to provide for you as an overview. Just to give you some context for VCOE services, we serve 20 districts here in Ventura County, and out of that, there's also 12 charter districts that operate independently with their own local governing board. There are 237 schools within our county serving over 125,000 students. That number can go up and down depending on the particular day. That is one of our locations, our administrative services building that's located on Verdugo Way in Camarillo. And thank you. Our other facility is our Conference and Educational Services Center. That's a place where you've probably more likely visited, which is our conference center where many convenings are held throughout the day and throughout the year. Just so you get a picture of what it is that constitutes the services at VCOE, you can see educational services, of which that's the branch to which my department belongs, Comprehensive Health and Prevention Programs. We also have fiscal and administrative services. There's a SELPA, which is our Special Education Local Plan area. That is another division of VCOE. And the final component of VCOE services is summarized with student services. So all represented there, all four pillars, four branches. Okay, see if I can get that to advance, see if it'll work for me. There we go. I thought it helpful to just outline a bit of the core functions so folks have an understanding of the County Office of Education as a role. First off, it is charged with maintaining oversight for district fiscal responsibilities and accountability. Within that comes also the work of approving what's called the Local Control Accountability Plan, or LCAP for short. You may or may not know that a County Office of Education also serves students as directly in specialized program for both expelled and incarcerated youth, as well as for students with significant needs within special education. VCOE maintains a program for career technical education, also has a significant infrastructure support for IT. Professional development is a significant component of VCOE services, as well as the Academic Performance Initiative, where we support student competitions are a fun part of the work, and I'm proud to support that work. We actually have one going on right now I'm missing out on. But back at the home office, we're right now doing the Batalla de Libros. Hopefully I said that right. Battle of the Books in Espanol. So. Okay, and then finally, wrapping it up for you there, you'll see the last bullet representing student wellness, mental health, attendance, school climate, and social emotional learning, which is also a component of VCOE services, of which I'm proud to represent those services here today. And that's what it is I'm going to get more specific with you today in the presentation. There we go. So to give you a brief overview of the types of services within comprehensive health and prevention programs, there's 4 types: prevention and early intervention, substance use services, tobacco use prevention education, and wellness centers. And we'll look at each one of those individually. Next slide, please. Beginning with prevention and early intervention, you'll see that those services are designed to provide access and linkage and then engage students and families into service and care. And there's also a significant focus within this work upon the reduction of stigma. VCBH has been working in partnership with VCOE within the PEI initiative since 2019, focusing upon 12 districts. I'll give you some stats in regards to how it is that the PEI program performed for the school year 24-25. In fact, all the information I give you here today with all the stats is going to be for the 24-25 school year. We haven't quite concluded 25-26. I could, of course, report back to you on that at a later date and time. But for that 24-25 school year, out of that, there were 109 trainings conducted in topics such as mental health and wellness, stress management, social emotional learning, restorative practices, trauma-informed practices, crisis intervention, suicide awareness and prevention, including youth mental health first aid, and a number of other trainings that are provided either by VCOE or one of the 12 districts. I can give you some statistics in terms of how those early intervention services had rolled out during that 24-25 school year. In that year, there were 19,734 individual school-based services provided. There were 7,346 school group-based services provided to those or through those 12 districts. There were 1,558 community-based referrals. And then out of that, there were 1,052 confirmed linkages to care. Currently right now, and as we will hear later on within today's meeting, VCOE is talking about our transitioning in the landscape of where we would be able to continue this great work absent the P and the PEI. So absent prevention work, but with the focus upon Behavioral Health Services Act, clearly focusing upon early intervention. Our intent is to be able to continue to support the work of early intervention within the schools, and prevention will still continue to be a focus in other programs outside of any BHSA funded activities. The next slide will show you substance use services. And I'll give you some statistics again for our services that were provided during the 24-25 school year. Out of that, there were over 60 community outreach events that had transpired from our substance use services team. We attended over 25 wellness fairs, as well as those types of events which are located on schools, whereby we're able to provide information out to students and staff alike. We attended over 15 Red Ribbon Week events, which is a prime opportunity during the month of October for us to engage in support of our schools with activities that have focus upon saying no to drugs, and the Red Ribbon campaign, I'm sure you're familiar with, is a great opportunity for us to prevent the messaging that we do with tobacco use prevention and substance use prevention too. We're proud that we now have 12 anti-vape social clubs, and we have engaged with each one of them. So I'll say that term again. That is the term that we use with youth-led efforts upon school campuses. And they term themselves, really, the term that they use is anti-vape social club. So it's kind of a catchy term that the kids will use in terms of how it is that this youth leadership is structured upon the school sites, and the term that they associate with that work and promoting messages for positive lifestyle. After presentation, I'll have an opportunity for question, I believe, if the chair will allow. We had conducted a large-scale training. In fact, we had conducted a training with 104 persons in attendance to focus upon the topic of naloxone, which is an opioid antagonist and for rescue from overdose from opioids. We had also, let me see, I already read that bullet, sorry. And the final bullet I want to read is that we conducted 75 outreach events in total for the year, which is well in excess of what it is that we had articulated in our initial goals. To round it off with substance use services, we had a youth awards night, as we always conclude the year and recognize those students that are doing that great youth leadership work back at their home schools with their anti-vape social clubs. And whereas we had over 170 youth and their families attend, we just finished the event for this last year. I don't have the numbers on that. And then we also had a youth-led panel at our annual equity conference that we convened during that school year with representatives from multiple school districts. Moving on to our next slide, which is tobacco use and prevention education. You can see there a focus upon both prevention and intervention, cessation, alternatives to suspension, as well as youth development. I'll give you a few statistics for that 24-25 school year. In short, the student services provided, whether it's outreach through Red Ribbon Week or wellness fairs or anti-vape social club, amounted to actually contact of 7,227 points of distribution for information. I'd mentioned to you earlier, the anti-vape social club and a number of schools, 12 participating. That's out of 5 districts that we're engaged with. Just so that you understand, when we're doing this work, it is an evidence-based practice program with curriculum such as Catch My Breath or Why Vape or Vape Science 101. Those are the types of curriculum that we use as we're working with youth. We had logged in a total number of 237 community engagement contacts within events held at schools, such as resource fairs and back to school night or open house. As far as staff development goes, we had recorded 206 staff trained. Of that, alternatives to suspension was delivered to 26 different staff members in 7 districts. And then we also did brief intervention training for 69 different staff members. We're really happy about that participation. And we're proud about the participation in partnership with VCBH in working with the tobacco forum that we did back on April 30th of 2025, Tobacco Old New that we did in partnership. Great outcome there. And we're going to move us into our last topic, which is our wellness center services. I'm so delighted that we have Natalie Torres here today, who's former wellness peer herself. And I want to tell you a little bit about the work that's been going on within the domain of wellness centers, which began initially in 2020 with an identified 5 school districts and 8 school sites. Since then, the work has evolved enormously. I'm proud to report back to you that we now have, by count, 123 wellness centers in Ventura County. That is phenomenal. I know of no other county in our state that has that number represented. There's a little bit, it depends on what you call them and how they count, because there are school-based health centers. You may be familiar with that term. And those are a bit different than the type of work that I'll describe to you here, which you see articulated on the screen. Let me give you some statistics on the wellness centers. For that 24-25 school year, in working across what has now blossomed into 11 high schools, it was 47,014 wellness center visits. So that's 47,000 students coming into wellness centers, and some of those are duplicated counts, so repeat counts and whatnot. But out of that, we had logged that number of visits. From that, schools had done 3,499 screenings for mental health services. Out of that, 3,913 students were identified for mental health services. And out of that number, 146 were referred to VCBH for further screening, assessment, and treatment. I'm proud to announce back that those wellness peers that are such a strong part of the work, the initiative that we do within this domain is really centered around the value of peer-to-peer messaging when it comes to talking about, hey, it's okay to talk about how we're doing. It's okay to talk about mental health and behavioral health, reduce the stigma, and make it a safe and welcoming place and space within the wellness center just to come in and have a conversation about how you're doing. The wellness peers during that school year did 987 different activities. So convening different groups at all of those 11 high schools and convening for that number nearly 1,000. So that's fantastic. And when we survey the students in regards to their participation at these school sites, they're giving us some really good information in terms of their confidence about talking to peers about mental health. So it's up by the post-survey results as high as 93. All of these numbers that I'll give you are all trending in positive direction. Students reported feeling confident with being able to intervene in support for crisis and providing referral by 90%. Willingness to seek help is rising, going from 71 to 76% from pre to post. Encouraging others and listening without judgment is at a 94% within those 11 high schools. And knowing when to ask for help, raising that awareness, that one has risen from pre at 75% to 82% now by survey. Awareness of school services has risen to 91%, and knowing what services are being able to provided was 82%. Confidence in accessing services, again, that's 81. By the way, what I just gave you, that's all information from the high school wellness centers. And we have also been able to, with VCBH's good support, excellent support, been able to expand into providing further wellness center support to the middle schools. And out of that, there have been 14 schools. I'll now report the data for those schools. So from that group of 14 schools, there were 3,304 screenings conducted, resulting in 23,603 individual school-based services. We had attendance at family nights recorded at 47,532. And we had 300 on the mark, 300 referrals to school-based health services for behavioral health. I'll conclude by letting you know the survey results from students when we're asking them, all positively trending from pre and post, anywhere from 3 points to 11 points, knowing what mental health services are provided, knowing that there's a wellness center on campus, knowing where I can go to get help. Use of the wellness center, that's the biggest increase from pre to post, up 11% from pre to post for middle school students. And knowing how to seek help, that's a big one. We're gaining ever. The scores are high on those already because we've been at these efforts for a period of time and getting out the messaging about knowing how and where to ask for help and support. And we continue, though, to make these gains. And so we're really doing a great job within the Wellness Center initiative with opening access, providing access to students at all tiers. It begins with a tier 1 welcoming space and can include and engage in more intensive services if indicated. Okay, so I know that I spoke quickly. I wanted to give you the information that's so important to me today, and knowing that we also have a full agenda. If I can, I'll advance one slide and bring us to a close. Just looking on the horizon, as we will be seeing here momentarily, talking about the Behavioral Health Services Act and next steps for VCBH, VCOE is listening intently and walking alongside. So that's the future ahead, as we all know and understand. Next slide will tell you that under construction is something that is called the multi-payer fee schedule, which is part of the Children and Youth Behavioral Health Initiative, or CYBHI for short. It is within the domain of non-specialty mental health. You'll see that articulated there within a welfare and institution code that allows for schools to submit claims for behavioral health services, including substance use services delivered within schools. And so we're currently have been working actually at this point in time for over 2 years to support schools within this very large scale initiative. And as we're moving along in this, I'm happy to report back on that. We're seeing it as the future for the sustainability of efforts, knowing that there are decreases in revenue across the board in many places, schools. We have had decreases in revenue due to decreased enrollment. And so we know too that grant-based programs have beginning and ending dates. And so the state's vision for continuing these great efforts that I've just articulated for you with PEI and Wellness Center, the state's grand vision for that is the long-term sustainability through the multi-payer fee schedule. So I want you to know we're well attending to that and have been working hard. We're engaged with 12 districts on that actually, and the county office is providing guidance and technical assistance within that work. And concluding now, I believe, for you, just give you my contact information to have there and another smile for you. And feel free to reach out. And I think I'll click once more to see. There is a thank you with a beautiful Christy. See, that's a wonderful place to which you've come. And welcome. And if the chair would allow, I'm happy to take questions.
Yeah, please. Are there any questions for Chris? Frank, did you?
Yeah, excellent presentation.
Thank
Since I'm new, I just don't, wonder if you would explain to me the difference, the relationship between this organization and the local school boards.
Oh, yeah, a question in regards to VCOE, Ventura County Office of Education, and the local school boards. So the local school boards, or LEAs as they're called, local education agencies, are autonomous. They have their own local governing board that is elected by citizenry from within that jurisdiction. So they self-govern. Our role is really best summed up with providing guidance, support, and technical assistance. There is no authority over, other than in some discrete domains where there's fiscal accountability that must be certified by the County Office of Education for the budgets of the districts.
So you provide information to the school boards?
Information and support to
And
the
support.
school boards
Okay.
and districts.
Good, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Great question, and thanks for the answer. My question has to do with any additional, once a problem is identified at the wellness center, is there any communication with a primary care provider or either medical or the mental primary care provider?
Yeah, such a great question in regards to when we identify a need at the school, is there communication? I can tell you this as an example of one. The short answer is yes. And as we had just been visiting Pacifica High School, we had conducted a site visit just actually earlier today. And we asked a question along those lines. And the question was along the lines of a student that was getting support within the wellness center, and then subsequent to that needed additional supports outside. And so what the coordinator at the school campus, the wellness center coordinator, had articulated is that she was well able, because of now relationships that have been built with behavioral health as well as public health and providers, community-based organizations, to make those contacts directly. So we're, as you use the term, I'm sure you're familiar with closed loop referral, which is, the ability for us to not only refer a family, a student or family for services but to actually hear back, what was the result from that referral? Were those services actually engaged by the family? What we're talking about is moving beyond that till we actually have a better point of coordination of care. It is happening better in some places, and in that place that I described to you, it's happening well, but I have to be very frank in saying there's room for improvement, because there are within organizations, naturally, agencies have their own domains, and the communication pathways sometimes don't work as well as we would want them to in support of our kids and families. So that is actually part of our work that we're endeavoring to do through the CYBHI initiative, is to improve the communication flow to better support kids and families.
Thank you, Chair. And Chris, thank you for the presentation. Yeah, I've been able to tour several of these wellness sites on some high school campuses, and I think we all agree on their importance. And I guess my concern is funding, and I'm curious if you have any insight, with the state changing its funding model. I'm not sure if HR 1, the big beautiful bill, has any impacts on this, but do you have any insight into the long-term funding models to keep these going? Or if you're concerned about it?
It is a concern. It is a concern because the Mental Health Services Act, MHSA, has, an ending time and date. And we're now transitioning through that into Behavioral Health Services Act. And that was a significant source of support and partnership with VCBH. And also the Mental Health Student Services Act, MHSSA, was another important initiative that also too is concluding. That work that we are endeavoring to do through the multi-payer fee schedule is going to be ultimately our sustainability pathway, but it's taking time to ramp up, to be most direct. It's a complicated process, and it is an endeavor that requires an integration of school and healthcare, two different systems that, although we want to talk and get along, don't necessarily always speak the same language. And for example, through data sharing, and you can imagine data sharing and privacy, which we have to pay attention to important laws protecting students and families. There are so many things that we're endeavoring to work through processes so that we can, actually be able to implement the model that we've designed and are rolling out. So with that being said, that's our ultimate goal, is to be able to continue that work. We endeavor to continue through Behavioral Health Services Act. I had mentioned that VCOE has been involved in prevention and early intervention efforts, and absent prevention as a category coming through BHSA, that doesn't mean that we won't still do prevention work with other funding sources. We're hoping that we will have opportunities to do that too. We have some money earmarked for that. Speaking back to what is referred to as the big beautiful bill, one of the concerns that I see, and I'm guessing that as you all read the Star and are following the headlines, the number and declining enrollment within Medi-Cal that was just done in an article from Gold Coast, and Dr. Nunez articulating, as I recall, and hearing it from him directly, it was roughly 1% a month since August. And I know the concern is shared here too at VCBH. That's a significant decline in enrolled students and families that is trending in the wrong direction, and that will impede us in being able to provide funding for these efforts. It's not going to impede us in terms of services necessarily, because we serve kids and families first, irregardless of whatever revenue may be gained from the CYBHI fee schedule. So we're always providing services first. The question is, do we have a family with insurance for which we can submit a claim to then be able to sustain staff? Of course, that would be a worry, but we always serve kids and families first. But a concern with the lower number of enrolled Medi-Cal. Yeah.
Just one follow-up question is, my experience is local groups are always looking for money. Do you help identify sources of funding for local school districts?
Local groups such as community-based organizations that may have funding. Is that your question? If I want to clarify.
I thought just identifying it, what sorts, you might have knowledge about places that they can get money, and they don't know that, and so you can provide that information.
Well, I'll say this, that, our schools and our wellness centers are very much community focused. And so I can give you multiple examples of local schools supported by local communities, including small business supporting. If I zoom out to the larger perspective, I want to make sure to highlight that within the governor's May revise, we have continued funding for that CYBHI initiative that I had mentioned to you. That's critically important. Although within that May revise, I noticed a 50% reduction proposed to the Innovation Partnership Fund grant that currently has been announced, and we are awaiting anxiously to hear back the results of that grant. It's from the the Commission for Behavioral Health, now formerly BHSOAC, Behavioral Health Services Oversight and Accountability Commission. That's a mouthful. So, but that's a concern. That's a concern for us because actually, we have been very innovative in Ventura County in terms of provision of practices, and some of the innovation that we had proposed as part of our own particular grant application was to be able to innovate how we coordinate those services best. And so with a reduction of funding, there's potential then less opportunity for VCOE to be able to capitalize upon that state funding. Further questions?
We have one question. Chris?
Oh, Chris.
Do you have a comment or a question? I'm not sure if your hand is still up from before or if this is new.
Okay.
Okay, so Chris, I don't hear from you, so I think that's an old hand, so to speak.
An expired hand. Okay.
Well, that'd be even worse.
Oh, I don't mean that.
Natalie?
Thank you, Mr. Ridge, for that wonderful presentation. And thank you, Supervisor Levier, for that good question, because I wanted to follow up on that. So aside of wellness centers, I feel like I have a concern over the curriculum in the VCOA education system. Personally, I graduated from Oxnard High School last year, and we had a behavioral health CTE wellness program, and recently it was revoked. So I was kind of wondering, what does the education curriculum look moving forward about mental health or behavioral wellness CTE courses?
Great question. Thank you, Natalie, for keeping a focus upon that particular topic that involves the behavioral health workforce pathway as we would articulate it. It has been a focus at VCOE, and we had partnered with both Oxnard Union High School District as well as Santa Paula Unified School District, both of those districts having the most significant concentration of programs within this career technical education pathway. The decision in regards to the one that you're referring to at Oxnard was a local decision. So getting back to the local autonomy of local governing boards within Oxnard Union High School District, I can't speak to that. I would say this, that our advocacy has been to go in the other direction, which is to engage youth to as young as high school and middle school, of which we have wellness peers there too, to engage them in these conversations about wellness and mental health. And for those interested, to support them all the way through their TK-12 education and beyond, and to being able to gain access to knowledge and careers. So I think it's important, and we're endeavoring to do that, and we're continuing to support that. I'm continuing to have conversations about it, and I will continue in conversation, having just been over at Pacifica, where they do have a strong health workforce pathway program. I'll continue to advocate in that direction. So I appreciate you raising it. Thank you.
Great. Sylvia?
I saw that that it was, I think 3,400 screenings, mental health screenings. I think that was the number you had.
That's what I recall.
Yes, and then 140 something were referrals to VCBH. And I was just wondering, that seems like a low number. I was wondering why, what barriers you think that if there are any for that low number of the 146 from the 3,400 screenings. And then for those that didn't get to an actual referral, what the barriers were for that.
Let me try and break that down just a little bit, beginning by referring to the data that I provided as part of the focus upon wellness centers at the high school level. I think that's to which you're referring, because that was 3,499 mental health screenings. And then the 146 ultimately resulting in referral to VCBH, if that's the correct one I'm referring to. Okay. It's important to reference that that's work happening in 5 districts and 8 high schools. So it's not the entire high school population size. So out of that, if you take 8 high schools, which even at a high-end average or 2,000 students, that's 16,000 students. And so we're talking about screening 3,500 out of maybe 16,000. Maybe a helpful marker just to think about from what we know in terms of students reporting struggles in mental health and wellness. It used to be pre-COVID that maybe it was anywhere from 1 in 10 to 2 in 10 reporting. I have seen reports upwards now that number has doubled. So you could anticipate that potentially anywhere from 10 to 40% of your students may be manifesting with some level of symptomatology or expressing concern for a need for support with any number of areas related to mental health and wellness. So in my mind, I'm doing some mental math off of that and thinking, well, that seems to be about what I expected as a number to come out for a yearly total. But to get to your questions in terms of barriers, when we hear most directly from students, and I think I really trust in hearing from them on what's going on within the local school community and at home, a lot of times they'll say that these topics of mental and behavioral health, they can be talked about better in the home now. And then they'll say, but also sometimes not, that it's still a difficult conversation, or it's still difficult to bring it up with family, or there's still a resistance to engage with those services. So I still think we have a ways to go. We've made some progress, and we have a ways to go too, I would say, in that. And I think one of the biggest barriers is around what we call stigma, around this, what may be termed also shame, or not wanting to engage in services. I'm not crazy. That's okay. I don't need that. That's what you'll hear students say sometimes, that they will hear from a family member. Why do you need that? You're not crazy. They'll tell us these things directly. So I listen to that very carefully. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just a contradiction to also, but parents being concerned about, so, wanting to know more about suicide prevention. So, so that's interesting that on one hand, there's that stigma, but then there's also obviously the concern about suicide rates among Latinos, especially Latino adolescents. And I was just, just thinking about how to bridge that gap.
Thank you for that comment. I appreciate that. And I think there is still outreach efforts. And I think that all of us, my guess is all of us sitting here at the table today are all concerned just about that exact thing, is how can we better support? We're doing great things in Ventura County, and in partnership between the schools and behavioral health, great things happening, and we still have a ways to go. Dalia.
I think another barrier is that they don't believe in confidentiality. They cannot trust. They're worried about when they say something, the whole school knows or the parents know. And I think that's another reason some people don't want to continue seeing therapists.
Yeah, there's a real concern with confidentiality. There's a concern, we just spoke about it on our visit actually, and how we are very careful and intentional in talking with youth and wellness peers in particular about confidentiality and how important that is. We have trainings in relation to that. And I think there are other factors too that feed into that fear about confidentiality. How is this information going to be used? How's my health insurance information going to be used? I won't go into the topic of that right now, but there's legitimate concerns that I see coming from our communities. How is this information going to be used? How could it be used in regards to my immigration status? Thank you.
Soledad, did you have a comment or a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Primeramente quiero darle las gracias al señor Chris Rich por esta presentación. Es demasiado importante para nosotros.
Before anything, I want to say congratulations to Chris Rich for this presentation, and I want to say that it's really important for us as well.
Como mamá y como persona involucrada en la comunidad, una de nuestras primeras preocupaciones culturalmente es el estigma de que categoricen a nuestros hijos como que está loco, lo que decía Chris, o que la demás gente se entere de que mi hijo tiene un problema.
As a mom, as a member of the community as well, that's our worry. I guess in our culture, we have that stigma that we don't want other people to find out, or maybe might think that our kids are crazy.
Tenemos un grupo de papás que estamos muy involucrados en las escuelas y concientizamos a los papás de la importancia de que dejen que sus hijos, aparte de que vayan a la escuela, que es importante, pero que vayan a los centros de salud mental para que puedan agarrar la ayuda a los niños. Creo que si un niño está mal mentalmente, pues lo que menos quiere saber es de estudios.
Yeah, well, this group that we have with parents, I mean, we encourage the kids to, first of all, to go to school, but also if they have any type of issue with mental health, for them to seek the help. Because first of all, if they're not well mentally, they might not want to do anything that has to do with school.
Yo sé que han hecho un gran trabajo, gracias, pero también otra de las cosas hablaban de la comunicación. Creo que el enfoque para poder llegar al niño necesitamos más comunicación hacia los padres, a dejarles saber qué es realmente salud mental, porque los papás no saben qué es salud mental y por esa razón no dejan que los niños vayan o no los motivan a que vayan al centro de salud mental.
Yeah, no, we're doing like a little, we're doing good work with the outreach with the community as well, and the students. But first of all, I think we have to do the outreach with the parents as well. Some of them, or most of them, they don't know what mental health is or the issues of mental health. I think it's better we can give them a lecture. I don't know, what is it?
Necesitamos más información, más talleres para los papás donde podamos ayudar y concientizarlos de la importancia de que nuestros niños o nuestros jóvenes e incluso la familia, porque algunas veces no es el niño, pero es la familia que está pasando por esto. Entonces, siempre he dicho, estamos dispuestos a apoyar, para promocionar, para ayudar. Y pues gracias también a todos ustedes. Thank you.
Yeah, I think they need more they need more information for parents. They need more workshops as well, for kids, for teenagers, for family, for the whole family. Because sometimes we don't even know that the whole family is going through something. So we're here to give them the support. And I want to say thank all of you guys as well for the support.
Sol, muchas gracias por su trabajo con Padres Juntos.
Thank you so much for the work with the United Parents.
Thank you so much for your comment, Soledad, and for the interpretation. And Dahlia too. I know you work with kids and teenagers, right? So yeah, it's appreciate that as a professional. I do think, I guess my question is, or comment is, there's a lot of bullying that goes on, particularly in middle school. And do you find that there's ways to more adequately address that, or the kids bringing it up, or is that something that seems to be of a concern to the kids?
From my perspective, it's a pervasive concern. I'm looking at Natalie because she's just coming from high school, and my sense is that yes, it still occurs, and yes, we have ways that students can report and seek an adult help with the circumstance. And yes, though, it is a concern. In fact, I was just with about 25 youth yesterday evening, and they were talking about the particular form of bullying that they were encountering because of their immigration status. Right? And it was concerning, to say the least.
Well, thank you. Are there any more questions or comments? I'm not seeing any. Thank you very much, Chris, that's an excellent report. I think it gives us a lot to digest, and I'm sure we'll probably want to do more later, but thank you. Okay, moving along to public comments. No, we already did that. Sorry. Chair announcements. And I don't have any. I think it's going to be covered primarily by the director's report. And in your packet, there were several announcements of different things that have been taking place in terms of opening the facility, which you're probably going to address, I'm going to guess, right? Okay,
I will if you don't.
go right ahead. The director's report, Dr. Schiffer.
So hello, Dr. Dennering left me some notes and asked me to mention just a few things, most of which you'll find in the packet. Dr. Dennering presented the VCBH budget last week to the Board of Supervisors. As you might imagine, it represents a good deal of time and effort across the department, especially our fiscal staff. And happy to report it was well received. If you missed it, fear not, she's going to reprise it next month at this meeting, so you can get the detail on the VCBH budget for the coming fiscal year. Also happy to report that the department got really minimal feedback on our DHCS integrated plan, which was shepherded under Courtney LaBelle. Again, it was a department-wide effort. Everybody for months has been working on this. And then when we get the final back, it'll go to the board for approval. And then last week, as was mentioned, Governor Newsom released his May revise. And over the coming weeks, the Assembly and the state will review the proposal with the final state budget to be adopted by June 15th. Of note from the behavioral health perspective, the revise continues to propose that mobile crisis benefit be optional beginning April 1st, which is, you've heard, is a kind of a point of concern. And then a couple of infrastructure announcements. On April 14th, the Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to name the Simi Valley Crisis Stabilization Unit the Bob Huber Crisis Stabilization Unit in recognition of former Supervisor Bob Huber's advocacy for expanding behavioral health services into East County. And then the 4th District's Supervisor Janice Parvin held a naming ceremony on May the 5th. And Dr. Dennering made some comments at the event, and it was also attended by the Chair Heitman. And then on May 13th, the county held a groundbreaking ceremony for the Home Key Plus project on Lewis Road, where again, Dr. Dennering made some remarks. In 2025, Ventura County was awarded nearly $28 million in the Home Key Plus funding by the California Department of Housing Community Development. And VCBH has contributed to this effort through local match by way of the Behavioral Health Services Act, Housing Interventions Funds. These resources helped expand the housing opportunities for individual behavioral health conditions and reflect our ongoing commitment to connecting housing with compassionate care and supportive services. This development creates 88 permanent supported housing units, along with on-site resident manager support, using innovative modular prefab construction to help hopefully accelerate the what's much needed housing. So those are the highlights.
Thank you. Thank you to the Board of Supervisors for that unanimous support. That's really good. Are there any other questions or comments? Dr. Schipper? Okay, good. Thank you for making that report on behalf of Dr. Dennering. Are there any, okay, are there board member comments or announcements that you want to make? Nope, seeing none. Okay, we'll move along to the old business. So we're having 2 public hearings today. Public hearing on MHSA and BHSA, both of which were presented last meeting. The public hearing was opened at that point, and there have been comments coming in from the public. This is your chance as the board to once again make public comments if you have them for this report, and then I will be closing the public hearings and they will go forward with comments. But first, I'm going to open the MHSA. I'm going to do them separately. So we're going to open the MHSA hearing first. Any comments from the board members or anyone else who's here? Chris?
I'll just make a brief comment as a follow-up to our previous meeting in which we'd had a wonderful presentation. I found it to be thorough in being able to answer a number of questions I had and thorough in terms of the input that was sought from the community and the follow-up that was provided after that. So I just wanted to thank the VCBH team for providing that. Thank you.
Great. Any other comments on the BHSA? I'm sorry, MHSA. Okay, I will close that public hearing, hearing no more comments, and then that I've been informed that we do need to take a roll call vote on closing the hearing. So Sylvia?
I just had a question.
Okay, a question, okay.
This is a public comments for the board members, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is that something we could still write into or?
Well,
No,
yes.
not after.
Well, we're closing the public hearing, but Courtney's here, so we'll ask her as the.
the 30-day public comment period for both the Mental Health Services Act annual plan and the BHSA integrated plan will end by 5 o'clock today. So you can still send in emails if you want, or if you have a public comment, you can also share that here.
As as part of the public, right?
Well, you as a board member can make a comment, and we are noting those comments as well
Okay.
for inclusion and for the public.
Okay.
So you both have, as a board member, you also can speak and share your thoughts and comments as well.
And then the 5 o'clock deadline is for what?
That closes the 30 days. So we
Okay.
opened the 30 days for both reports at our April 18th Behavioral Health Advisory Board meeting. The 30 days ends today at 5 o'clock. I mean, sure, if you get it in at 5:05, we would still accept it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm doing roll call.
Yes.
Soledad Barragan,
Yes.
Daniel Bednar. Oh, not here. Andre Bobro,
Yes.
Nancy Borchard, Chris Dyer.
Muted, but he said yes, I can read lips.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Genevieve is in here. Myself, yes. Rebecca Gregorian,
Yes.
Chris Ridge,
Yes.
Supervisor Olivier,
Yes.
Diane McKay,
Yes.
John Stencil,
Yes.
Dahlia Ropkin, Natalie Torres, Cheryl Heitman,
Yes.
and Frank Shillo.
Solo.
Shillo, is that it?
Here.
Okay, yes,
Yes.
okay.
Great. Thank you. So that is now closed, and now I'm going to open the other public hearing, which is on the, these things are so confusing, BHSA. We all know what that means, right? Okay, good. So that also was presented last month, but we've had this open since that meeting, and now it is time to hear if there's any more comments from our board before closing the public hearing. Okay, and I know we do have one public comment, right? Okay, Jeff, you want to come to the podium? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Jeff Lambert. I'm the CEO of Ventura Housing, the Ventura Housing Authority, and I just want to, I think, applaud the behavioral health team, particularly Courtney, in working through this BHSA. It's hard to get it off the tongue, but it's starting to roll off pretty comfortably. I know this was sort of required by the proposition, but the connection of housing and mental health is so critical. I want to give a shout out to Sarah Sanchez over there, who's been quiet all afternoon, because it really is that permanent supportive housing is such a critical component of mental health. And I just want to share with you all a very simple example that many of you might already know, is we are now finished constructing the Valentine Road apartments. It was 134 units of permanent supportive housing for those experiencing homelessness. We are having our ribbon cutting on Thursday. Dr. Dettering is speaking. We're really trying to bring home the connection between housing that's secure and sustainable with mental health wellness in our community. We're so proud of our partnership with behavioral health. We know that the BHSA will set the stage for that continued partnership. I keep asking Sarah and Courtney for a 20-year commitment. I know they can't give me that, but so you all know it's important to have a long-term commitment to this partnership. We have out of 134 units, 60 of them are subsidized by BHBH. And we know that's going to convert into BHSA. So that's half the units are on site, supported by the BH community. Those lives are being changed every day. And what I'm most proud of is the partnership between our on-site staff and behavioral health on-site staff. They are problem solving. almost by the hour. And we have very successful stories of folks at that community. And the one I'll give you a little example of success is on Thanksgiving last year, where we're still moving people in. It's a changing environment every day. We had no staff on site on Thanksgiving Day, and the residents there came together and had a Thanksgiving potluck on their own, and it was really powerful. And just last week or 2 weeks ago now, they had a gathering on their own where they did a barbecue and an outdoor picnic. And so the community has been created there. And I've talked to other colleagues who do this work all over the country, and they don't know of an example where that level of community was created that quickly. And so that's only because of the partnership between us and so many other people, but particularly behavioral health. So I want to say that and encourage you to continue down this path of showing the importance of permanent supportive housing along with mental health. Thank you very much.
We appreciate what you're doing too. Jeff, what time is that ribbon cutting? Wait, there's another comment too. What time?
Oh,
is
yeah,
it?
sure. You're welcome to come. It's 8:30 on Thursday at Valentine Road. There's gathering for half an hour and then the long list of speeches. I'm kidding. We'll start about 9 o'clock, but we'll have a couple resident speakers and you'll get to see the unveiling of our new mural that's been put all over the property by local artists.
Who did the mural?
It's a group of 7 young artists who came together to submit a proposal, and it's really inspiring. And it was inspired by the residents. They met with the residents several times to help get ideas of what was important to them to see on those blank walls.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Diane, did you want
I
to?
just wanted to say, Jeff, I also think the design, I saw that they took the pool out, but it provided a really nice gathering space. And I think to your point of them having a space to do that, a safe space where they could all come together and be a community, I think was so much more valuable than a pool. So I really want to applaud whoever it was that made that decision, because
It was our risk manager that made that decision.
Fair point, fair.
But the results are good.
Yeah, but I think it served a dual purpose.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. Did you want to say something else to Jeff? Yeah.
Not to Jeff.
Oh, okay, yeah. No? Okay.
not to
But thank you, Jeff, so much for being here and for those kind comments. And we appreciate the partnership also, know all the good work you all are doing. Chris?
The general comment that I wanted to make is after I had the opportunity to read through the enormity of the integrated plan that Dr. Shipper had referred to earlier, I could see clearly there was a real high level of intentionality about how it was approached in terms of the feedback that was gathered from the community. I could see that within the plan. And I could see a high level of intention to really work in partnership that stood out to me too with the plan. And so I just wanted to comment generally on that in terms of the plan itself and what I had appreciated about it.
Great. Yeah.
There I am. I was off. Sorry. A big shout out to our everybody in behavioral health. You have all worked so hard trying to get all these things even in your head, much less on paper, and functional. And so I have said to many people, I don't know why they stayed. It must just be chaos. It's so much hard work right now. It was a little bit like I was around when they started the MHSA, and it was equally, well, it was probably less hard than this, but it was very difficult. And so, it's good to see what's all going on. I'm just encouraging. I feel nervous about one thing about how we are sort of limiting who gets what. And I feel like we're limiting services a little bit, or access to services. You need to be a Medi-Cal recipient. It's only for Medi-Cal people. I will say that people who don't have Medi-Cal also have mental health crises and difficult times and behavioral health has the best treatment around. And so if you wanted that for your loved one and you're not Medi-Cal eligible, you're out of luck. So I wish that we could integrate that. I know that if you show up in a crisis, you're going to get treatment, but it's that ongoing treatment that helps people get well and move out of that system. And so I'm always wanting to keep my eye on the ball with the seriously mentally ill and those who are family members trying to take care of them, it's still really hard out there and it's not going to get easier. And it feels like little walls have been erected to streamline the process. I do understand that, and you can't just have free fall all the time. But I just encourage us all to be vigilant and offer our comments as we go forward. And I've tried to read so many of these full-on thing, like you say, it is daunting just even to read it, much less try to implement it. So I congratulate the department as well as hope that we as members keep the mentally ill people that we're here to serve in our hearts and in our vision.
Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, I would agree with you. I know the department's worked really, really hard on this. It is very, very difficult, and we do want to pass along to the whole department, including, and certainly back to Dr. Dennering, on how much this department has come together on these plans. You know, it's just an ongoing process, and the funding is never, it seems like it's never for sure, and we're still debating that. And so there's a lot of challenges ahead, I guess is what I want to say, but thank you. And we should keep on, and we will keep on touching a lot of feedback on that, but thank you to that. So, no, I think Chris is, no, that's a former hand. We've had many descriptions of it, but now I'm going to go with former, I think. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, that's good. Okay, he did make a comment much earlier, but thank you for pointing that out. Any other comments before we close the public hearing? Oh, there is. Oh, please come forward.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to comment on the amazing work that all the different organizations have done for the purpose of having a better outcome for those who are affected by mental health. And we talk about partnerships, obviously, you know, the housing and Ventura Behavioral Health. But I really want to encourage, and of course, Chris, the schools and everything, basically our community. But one of the partnerships that I really want to encourage all of us to start to kind of have a narrative around is families. I think that in every study, we know that the partnership and having a great support system with those of us who are families of our loved ones is extremely important. The outcome is much more successful when our loved ones have that. So I love that you talk about community within the housing, but I think if we can also have those conversations about expanding that to the families as well, I think that is going to have the most effective outcome. I often have talked about how this is one of the most wonderful countries in the world. We have amazing resources, but how do we measure the efficacy of those resources for those affected? And I see the work that all, including you who are donating your time to make those outcomes great. Again, I want to encourage not only budgets, but also just the rhetoric around the providers, mental health providers, community leaders, school leaders, housing authorities, all of those who are involved with our mentally ill, to have those conversations around family involvement. And I understand that a lot of people are going to say HIPAA, 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 but there are so many ways to actually be inclusive and, and still respect HIPAA. I just want to encourage, and again, emphasize that the most important partnership that our loved one can have is the encouragement and those family ties, because those are forever. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments before I close the public hearing? Okay. I'm not saying, I got a lot of people watching for me. That's great. Thank you. Okay. At this point then, we will close the public hearing on the BHSA. and report, and we will do this by a roll call vote again. Sylvia?
Soledad Barragan,
Yes.
Daniel oh, he's not here. Andre Bobro, Nancy Borchard, Chris Dyer, myself, yes. Rebecca Gregorian, Chris Rich,
Yes.
Supervisor Lavier. Diane McKay. John Stencil. Dahlia Ropkin. Natalie Torres.
Yes.
Cheryl Heitman.
Yes.
Frank Shilo. Yes.
Okay, so that's officially closed, but as we heard, you have anybody who's listening or is here, you have until 5 o'clock tonight if you want to make an additional comment. But thank you all for your involvement in this. It's one of the things that we take very seriously as our board, so thank you all. Okay, thank you, Nancy, for being here, and it's time for the nominating committee report.
I am sorry to report that we're not quite finished with our gathering of our slate, so we will present everyone next time that we meet, and we will vote at that time as well. So I think we're close, but I didn't want to, I needed to talk to some people that have been having a hard time reaching, so I'm sorry to be late with this, but anyway, that's the reality. So if that okay?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the report yet. We will take it up next month. Now, there is a chance for people to self-nominate. So were you planning to do that next month too, or do you want to see if
Well,
there's
it'd
anybody?
probably be better if we did that today. If anybody wants to nominate someone from the floor or they want to self-nominate, that's allowable. And it would be well for our committee to know those things. If anybody wants to do that, I think today would be a good day.
Okay.
Otherwise, we can do it next time.
Okay. Well, if there's anybody who wants to self-nominate, and you can either do it today, you could let Nancy
let me
know.
know. Mhm.
She's the chair of the nominating committee, or we will bring it up again next month also. Okay, and that,
Okay.
and again, the officers include the chair, the first vice chair, the second vice chair, and the secretary.
Uh-huh.
So there's 4 offices, yeah, that
Yes.
we will be electing as a
Mhm,
board.
mhm.
Okay.
Just
All
another
right.
requirement is that there is an extra meeting that you need to go to the executive meeting. So that's usually the drawback for some that just don't have the time to do that.
Right,
But,
because that again has to be in person,
mhm,
as we know. So,
yeah, okay.
okay, all right, we'll move on. Hopefully you'll be able to reach people, and people, if they hear from you, they need to get right back to you. Yeah, okay. Okay, so going along with our presentation, it's perfect because our site visit presentation, John, you're going to talk about Pacifica High School, so that's great.
So Chris stole my thunder. No, I'm just kidding. Nancy joined me today, Sylvia joined me today, Chris was there, and we did our site visit at Pacifica High School and got to interact with the staff, some of the peer support, the wellness peers there. And I've been in behavioral health for 37 years. Where were those when we needed those 37 years ago? I was so taken back, and I could have stayed there for 4 hours listening to them and just seeing the whole presentation and knowing that there's, 17 more around the county. It was breathtaking. It really was. Like, I can't say so much. And I was trying to mentally take notes about all the numbers and this and that. And I went, I don't have to now. Chris already reported it. And if we could get some of those numbers reportable and sent out to everybody, I think that would be amazing also, Chris. So, Sylvia, you and Nancy, do you have any further input on the site visit today?
No, just something to follow up, with what Natalie had said about, like a continuum of education. As everybody knows, the state hospital was closed and turned into a, university. The hope that we would have more students from our community colleges be a feeder school to that CSU. That hasn't actually been as successful as it maybe should be. And they've talked about having, I think there are some master programs at CSU or CSUCI. I'm a little boggled down and I'm not sure why we don't have an MSW at Sasaki. That would make more sense to me, so that for people like Natalie that want to continue and get their MSW, we obviously have a shortage of counselors. Some of the bottleneck for, even if you get a referral for mental health, there's a 3-month waiting list to get on another 3-month waiting list sometimes to see a mental health specialist in some cases. So I hope as the board, maybe we can try to come together and make that advice, I don't know what you call it, towards the board of supervisors to see how that happens. But I think that is something, as we saw a lot of these, what was it, like 86 applications to be a mental health, over 100 applications to be a mental health wellness peer. And they initially started with 10 and have expanded to 26 at Pacifica. So you can totally see how that is such a popular program, and the kids are really interested in it, and to have a pathway. So at our local university, to do that, I think that would be something that would be really good.
So I'd like to make a comment about that first. So that there's a lot of movement in this state to actually have some of the community colleges now be able to offer bachelor's programs. And I know there's further movement to get the universities to expand their master programs as well. A colleague of mine is a professor out at Channel Islands, and she teaches in the Masters of Substance Use Disorder, not psychology yet, but so I think there is movement. I want to make one other comment. The wellness peer that spoke today, and she was amazing. She's only a sophomore, and she's already planning to go and get her degree in psychology and move up and get a master's, who knows, maybe a doctorate as well. But so I think these wellness centers are going to promote more people going into this field, which we sorely need right now. But I just wanted to add that to it as well.
Couple of things to report. One specifically in regards to what I'm aware of within Ventura County for the increased capacity to develop the behavioral health workforce. I recently met with Professor Iwana Schmidt at Ventura College, who is part of developing the Certified Wellness Coach program there. That is 2 levels. BA level is Certified Wellness Coach 2, and then there's also a Certified Wellness Coach 1, which is an AA level, both of which are certificates, not licensure, but serve an important role in the continuum of behavioral health services. And for those interested, they can serve as a bridge and pathway into higher levels of attainment, including licensure. To get back to our wonderful visit today, I just want to thank our 2 wellness coordinators at Pacifica High School, Esther Dominguez and Paloma Murillo. Both of them are just exemplars with this work of the wellness centers, and they are one of the 8 original high schools in Ventura County, along with Oxnard High School too, one of the 8 original wellness centers within the county that have done such outstanding work. And I was so proud to be able to go with the team today and just for you to see the incredible work, and want to continue to extend that invitation as an education representative to see what prevention and early intervention work looks like and what wellness work looks like within the high schools. I think it's really powerful, and to center in youth voice at it, as you had said, John, with one of the wellness peers able to articulate well today the why of the work and how they work. It was really powerful. So, and concluding remarks with thanking VCBH for the walking along in partnership with this work. It's been a great adventure, and that we're so all proud of here.
Certainly, I ditto all these comments, but I wanted to say too that I have been a sort of a doubter just because these wellness centers cost so much money, or they have in the past. Maybe they're not so much now, but I think so. They require a lot of money and funding, and we have a lot of them around. And I'm so pleased to say that I was so impressed, and happy that, people had this vision. And more importantly, that the numbers of students who are coming there on a weekly basis is amazing. And they're fighting the stigma of it. And there's almost, you don't feel stigma in that environment at all. And so, and to have people out in their school community doing this high, smiling, they have these little initiatives that they do. It's also, I think, highly reflective of the leaders. So I hope that all the other leaders are as wonderful as these two ladies that are just energetic and compassionate and all those things that you would wish for, and smart and organized and all those things. But it was a pleasure to be there and to understand more fully. That's why I think site visits are so important. You kind of think, well, I have a little reservation about it. Is that the best way to spend the money? Maybe we should spend it over here. But it's always really important to see with your own eyes and listen, and then you understand it better. So anyway, I always encourage everyone to go on site visits if they can.
So is there any way you can, John, or any of you kind of highlight how this works for those of us who weren't there, just so we have a little bit more knowledge about what actually happens there?
Yeah, I want to go home and make some notes about it and kind of come back with a full report, especially on the heels of what Chris just shared. That was incredible, but that just excites me even more. And if we continue to do these site visits, which I hope we do, not only would I recommend that we visit more of the wellness centers over the near future, but that we get more participation from people going to them. I would strongly recommend that. It's just, it was very touching to hear these young people talk about and their empathy and working with these kids, and it's really incredible, really is. Chris, thank you very much for setting that up for us.
Nancy, yeah.
I think what we heard was that people come in to the center. It's open all the time. And there's someone to greet you at the door all the time. And if you just need a little quiet space, there's right inside the door, there's this, they've created so many spaces that are so good and peaceful. I mean, who would think that you could be on a high school campus and say, I just need a time out here, 5-10 minutes. And they actually say it and do it. And it's like, wow. And there's a place where it's safe to do all that. So they come in and, it's like, okay. And then they just feel better and go back to class. That's one thing. And then they, they have groups, they have different sort of, yoga things that they do, mindfulness things. But beyond that, a lot of coping skills, how to manage your emotions, your life, and have relationships, and how to talk to your parents, and how to talk to your friends. And if you have a problem, or even if you don't have a problem, how do you make a positive, good relationship? How do you end one that's not good? Those kinds of things that they ask the students, what is it that is troubling you? What do you need the most? And they direct their program around what the students have said they need. And they need what everybody needs. But anyway, it seems they do many, many ways of addressing it. There's a place where they could actually do laundry, because some of the kids don't have a place to do laundry, or maybe their home environment is tough, so they can do laundry. There are places, that same place, that little room that they have where you can do laundry, you can get basic toiletries, a little bit of food, kind of whatever you need to get through today or a week or whatever. So there's just so many varied ways that they are addressing the needs. And the room kind of like deconstructs and puts back together. The furniture's all movable, so they can make space for a large gathering, say 30 to 40, or they can make space for 4. And so, and there are special rooms for each counselor has their own office where they can meet and, you know, talk with people individually. So there's group opportunities, individual opportunities. And so that's kind of how it worked, it sounds like.
I can just add into it that there's another room too, adjacent to where the school wellness coordinators are, which is an open space that's relegated for community partners such as clinicians from VCBH to come and have a secure space. Folks may know that sometimes that's a challenge upon school campuses for a clinician to come onto the site and then be able to have like a private place where you can close the door. And so that's part of the design, is having that space available for community partners and agencies to come in and work together in support of youth. And so the services are happening on the campus, whereas, you know, maybe they wouldn't have happened if it was going to be off the campus in the evening and the parent had to drive somewhere, right? But they can happen because then the clinician can come to the school to see the kid where they're at.
So a thought occurred to me that rather than us trying to articulate what we witnessed today, would it be possible that we could get a team from one of the wellness centers to actually come and present to this body here?
I can extend the invitation on behalf of the group if that be your wish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be
Good
great.
suggestion. We have a list of speakers coming up, but we have more room and time in future meetings. So that'd probably be very good. Yeah, thank you.
So lastly, we are doing our 4th site visit to Todd Road on June 15th at 11 o'clock in the morning. And I think everyone has a form that needs to be filled out if you would like to join that visit. And I'm going to again extend the invitation to anybody within the organization that wants to be there. We need to be there probably 10 minutes before 11 next time, because there's a check-in process, as there was here too, but I think that check-in is going to be a little bit more rigorous. So if you do want to go, you can fill out these forms, and we need to get them back to Chris within the next week or so they have time to process them as well.
Just a question about the visit, John. Is it going to see the CIT portion of it or the entire jail tour?
So we gave Chris, he's there, he can talk to it. Matter of fact, Chris, can you answer that question?
He's got to get unmuted. You know, or use your hand like that. That was working really well.
Hey, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
It's going to be a tour of CIT is headquartered in Camarillo Police Department.
I'm sorry, right.
Yeah, so we'll be touring. I'm going to take you guys through the health and programming unit, where we keep the primary housing for our people suffering from mental illness. That's really about the only amount of time we have. A full jail tour takes about a solid 2 hours.
Right. Okay.
So yeah,
I've been on that, and I kind of don't want to do that again. I just want to see the. Okay.
And if outside the visiting committee, if anybody just still, I've extended the invitation again. If anybody just wants to come on another day, we can work that out too. But as far as the site visit with John, it's going to be the health and programming unit. Yeah, just be there about 10 minutes early. I'll be leading the tour and escorting you guys down there. So it should be pretty streamlined. For anybody that's going, just no open-toed sandals, no shorts, just casual. And I think you have a pretty big eye opener if you've never been to a jail before.
All right, thanks, Chris. That's all I have.
Well, thank you. You're doing a great job. Your committee's doing a great job. And these are every report's been great. And it sounds like every place you've gone, all of you have been really productive. So I would like to say to Sylvia, and I don't know if this is still true, but it used to be that you could take the MSW program through Cal State Long Beach and it was offered here in Ventura. And so it'd be interesting to know if they're still doing that MSW program. I think they are, because we do graduate from somewhere local MSWs, and I know some have been hired by the department. So somehow that is going on, I think, without traveling. But they were coming here and giving courses and offering the whole program.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw some TikTok videos, especially in the Latino community, of kids having to give up full ride scholarships to UC Berkeley. This isn't like every Latino family. I'm not want to like, just say it's every family out there, but there is pressure from families to not go to school too far to stay in this region. And so a lot of the kids were saying how they had these full ride scholarships and they were having to give them up. So I think it's just really important that we explore ways for kids to be able to stay in county, especially when they have that pressure from families not to leave the area.
Okay, well, thank you. John, yeah.
All the time. There we go. So I'm not able to go, but tomorrow at VCOE, tomorrow evening, the TEACH program is honoring, I can't remember how many, but a large number of scholarships for people coming from Ventura County going into colleges. And those are full scholarships as well. There's some partial scholarships, but Chris, are you familiar with that program?
Generally, yes, but I don't have any
What?
numbers in front of me.
Yeah, a week from tomorrow, I think it is, isn't it?
No, oh, maybe it is. Is it 28?
Oh, it is.
Maybe
That's,
it is. Yeah.
yeah, there's another one tomorrow night. Yes, and I am going to that one on the 28th.
Okay, so we're going to move along with the agenda to the speaker card. You all had it attached, what the recommendation from the executive committee was. We did look at several different models and came up with one that we're proposing, which I can't find, but which we're proposing to make it as our speaker card. Please, if you have it, or you should have it's in the packet. Any comments, any changes, anything more you want to say about it? And these would be used, obviously, at our meetings. Okay. Anybody have any comments? Diane?
I know we don't often do it that way, but if there's an agenda item that they want to speak to,
Yeah,
so that we hear their comment at the agenda item, that's the only thing I would think of adding.
yeah, we talked about that. We can certainly add that on. I mean, it's pretty easy to do. Yeah, but
A lot of times without having someone at the table to tell them what agenda item,
Yeah.
they don't know and it causes more confusion. So,
yeah. Yeah, it's actually on one of the other ones that was kind of our backup one. So it's really easy to put that on. We just want to make sure we have general comments, because most of the comments we get, public comments, are general, but certainly we could add that on.
I just think it's more sometimes a convenience. These are long meetings and someone's going to speak for 3 minutes. So to have some idea of when they also might be speaking, I think is nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Comments? No. Okay. Well, with that one change, then I would entertain a motion to go ahead and establish our speaker card.
I move
Adopt it.
approval of the speaker card.
Great. Okay. Sylvia, you're busy today.
Ran out of room. Okay, speaker card.
Yes.
Soledad Barragan,
Yes.
Daniel's not here. Andre Bobro. Nancy Borchard. Chris Dyer,
He said yes.
myself, yes. Rebecca Gregorian, Chris Ridge,
Yes.
Supervisor Lavier, Diane McKay,
Yes.
John Stencil, Dahlia Robkin, Natalie Torres,
Yes.
Cheryl Heitman,
Yes, yes.
and Frank Shulo.
Yes.
Okay, that passes, and Celine, I can work with you on that change and we can move forward. Great, thank you. Okay, any future presentation requests? We did have the one today for Bring the Students. We'll note that. We have a couple other ones on the horizon. Oh, you know what we left off? Oh, shoot, it's not on here, was the July meeting. The summer schedule. I didn't catch that, Celine, that it's not in here. Well, that's okay. We'll put it on the agenda for next week for a vote. I mean, next meeting. It's not too late, but just as a heads up, the executive committee did discuss this. I know it came up at a meeting, I think the one I wasn't here at. And we are going to recommend at the next board meeting to skip July, to have a dark meeting in July, or whatever they call it, go dark in July. So many people want to take vacations there, and the Board of Supervisors is dark, so that will be the recommendation for next month. So just knowing that might help all of you who are trying to make arrangements to go away or whatever you want to do, vacation. Okay, contracts, any comments? Any of the contracts were included in your packet? Andre?
Yeah, I'd like to have some clarification about that first item, just because it's 8 digits. And so just if I can understand which pocket is sending the money to which other pocket. And also, is this something that happens occasionally? When the state we don't have state funding? Thank you.
Okay. Is any of the staff prepared to answer that?
Yeah, this is the first time saying it, the way I'm reading it, this seems to be a payment, a BHSA payment. Do you have any familiarity with that one?
It's an interest-free loan.
I'll do my best. It's not a contract. And Supervisor Lavier, you must be even more familiar with this than I am, but that we received the BCHIP funding to build the BCHIP projects. But essentially what happens with the BCHIP program is that all of it is done, is reimbursement. And contractors who are building, et cetera, want to get paid, they don't want to get, wait longer for their money. So this was a structure that was developed, I believe, by the Auditor Controller's Office to establish how we could fund the period of time between the time that was actually spent, those expenses were incurred, and the time and the contractors needed to be paid versus when we were going to be reimbursed by the BCHIP program.
So the county is lending this money
General fund, yeah.
Yes,
from the general fund. I see.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other comments on any of the contracts? All right, any other public comments? I don't think I'm seeing any. All right, so we will adjourn until our next meeting, which is June 15th. Thank you all for your attendance and for all the participation, and to John and his